right, this is day one of working on clip one for me, Joel's Inventions, machine multiverse clips. I have this idea that I've had for quite a while now of doing a sort of cup chain, and I'll show you one example of a module right here. I built this prototype earlier today, and you can see that when I push the lever up and down, the cup goes in this position and in this position, and the idea is the ball would go into the cup when it's in this position. It would auto trigger and lift up into this position, dispensing the ball and moving it on to, say, another cup. This was a prototype I made to demonstrate the idea, but I actually have the working version already built. Right now it works with an Epco ball, but I could adjust the weight to work with a different type of ball. I think I will probably be going with the Epco ball. It seems to be a multiverse staple of mine as of now, but I'll show you what it looks like. Pretty simple stuff. It's a little bit wobbly. I've retaped it like 50,000 times, but it's looking good. All I have to do is recreate that same module 6 times in a row. We should be good to go. All right, it is day 3, and I have completed the cup factory or ball factory trick. I don't really know what I want to call it, but it is somewhat reminiscent of a factory here with these mechanical arms that sort of extend the ball out one by one in sort of a conveyor belt type motion. But it's done. It was pretty straightforward. I basically just did more of them. There was some issues that came up in terms of getting the spacing of them right. I actually built a module to help me get them precisely right, and they all still had to be adjusted. Like, it is very, very particular, the spacing of the cups so that they don't bounce and hit each other. Overall, it works. The actual start and end connections are relatively simple. The end connection is Gabe's iconic spoon that he gifted me so that I could complete the transition. The ball just goes into a little cup to activate it. And then on the front end, there is like a little chain. The ball just basically, the ping pong ball just weighs down the chain and it starts the ball. Pretty simple stuff. I'm happy with it, and we'll see if it works reliably. All right, this is my multiverse behind the scenes for clip 2, the infinity loop, which is a lot more ambitious than my first clip. There's a lot of arts and crafts stuff going on. The concept is much more elaborate. The connections are complicated, so I've got to explain what's going on. Well, for starters, the actual concept is pretty straightforward. It's pretty simple. It's based off of just like a sort of childhood fidget toy type thing. Like when I was a kid and I would like put a ball on a frisbee, obviously you would do this a lot where you'd make it keep going by spinning it, but you can also just tilt it back and forth to get the exact same effect. And that is sort of what I was wanting to recreate with this clip, is a mechanism that tilts a circular track back and forth and uses that for the purposes of a trick. So how did I make that, and how did I make it into a trick? Well, how did I make it? I have these circular, they form a circular track, but there's curved connects pieces. And so for my second clip, I was playing around with it and thought to apply it to this concept. So here we are. What did I do next? How did I actually make it work? Well, simply put it, it's on a lever, basically, the entire thing. It's made of connects, so it's actually very convenient to secure to it. And then there is a specific speed of rotation that this piston has to go at. So this piston is basically just going down and up and down and up, the perfect intervals to make it level every time it tilts both directions. And it has to go at the perfect speed. So that's why I have these wonky donkey little rubber things, because I don't have gears that go to the exact perfect speed for my motor. The actual connection system, so for the start and end connections, there's actually a double jointed connection. So the start, there's a magnet marble that actually powers and turns on the motor, but it also hits this back to release the ball in the first place. The magnet, when it drops up, it releases the magnet marble to do both of those things at once. Over here, it's a very similar process where once the counting lever is done, this domino tips, which then of course releases this track domino to catch the ball, but this track domino hits a ball. That goes and hits a weight. That turns off the motor. And then we get to the good stuff. We get to the crazy arts and crafts moment, this counting lever. The arts and crafts on this was very last minute, but this was this took basically the full 4 days to get a counting lever, which are already very notoriously hard to make and construct. It took a long time to get one where it was lightweight enough where the ball doesn't visibly lose momentum. I mean, it shouldn't actually lose momentum either, because then the trick could fail. But I also didn't want it to visually lose momentum, because then the trick would look bad, and then that would be worse. But anyways, it counts down from 5. Basically, it does 5 rotations. On one of the ends, it's a little bit suspicious. It's a little bit longer than the rest of them, and so that's what allows it to, once it reaches the warning sign, release that lever by hitting the domino on the way out. And yeah, it's pretty cool. I like it. Goodbye.